Oh yeah, shit. Whoa, that was a lengthy intro. I was trying to figure
That's
out
true.
everything. Oh my God. But that way we could just watch the robots do their thing for a little bit longer, which is always a fun way to get started. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. Welcome to this new episode for. Um, yeah, who are we? What are we doing? So, welcome to the AI Academics Podcast. I'm your host, Professor Dr. Lennart Vugar. This is the show where my co-host Vugar Ibrahimov and I are geeking out about the latest AI developments without getting too scientific. We want to help you get the valuable AI insights and actionable strategies that matter. So, grab a coffee, tune in, and let's chat about why AI isn't the job stealing monster that everyone thinks it is. Before we dive in, if you're enjoying the show, make sure to hit subscribe wherever you get your podcast so you never miss an episode. And I don't actually know if we're live, so I'm trying to see if there's anything here that actually indicates that. So maybe we should
Yes,
just.
we are live.
We are? You can check it? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I did not see that in here. Okay, perfect. Well, then let's dive in. Thank you for joining me again, Vugar. It's awesome to have you and awesome to chat about some
Great
AI
as
stuff.
usual.
Yeah.
As usual,
So,
great to be here.
one of the things that we wanted to have a look at today, we want to, of course, chat a little bit about Nano Banana and the Google Flash 2.5 image generation model, which is quite awesome and has the internet talking about it. But before we get into that, there are a couple of other tools that we wanted to have a quick look at. And one of the things that came through the pipe, and one of the founders is actually launching that next week and sent that to us. And we just wanted to have a quick look. So I'm actually going to see if I can share this with you. Here we go. So, oh, are we not sharing it? Okay. Unable to share screen. Why are you unable to share my screen? You should be able to share my screen. Share this screen.
Yeah, it's kind of sharing, but I don't see anything. It's like an empty frame.
Okay. Hold on. We can probably fix this.
So we already have one comment. Kushalia, welcome.
Okay.
I see your comment. We will touch it.
Okay. This is clearly a Friday episode, so let's see if I can do it now. Is this sharing now? Yes.
Yes, it is.
Okay, finally, that was only harder than it needed to be. So yeah, this is the kind of tool that we wanted to play around with today a little bit, called Text Jam. So somebody sent that to us and said, check it out. Oh, and yeah, you're right. We did get some people tuning in. Not sure what that means, but hi.
Yeah, that was, I
Meet
think,
you.
that says Turnitin. That's Turnitin that the
Yeah,
university is using. Account now uses
yeah.
human bypasser catching. So I think,
Okay.
I don't know, he or she tries to saying that Turnitin now can catch the texts which were drafted by AI, but also humanized. Now, not Turnitin. I don't know if it is happening, but for
Okay.
sure,
That's
if you are,
yeah.
yeah,
That's the latest news for them. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
All right. So for us, the latest news is some of this stuff here. So I wanted to demo this, and Vugar has access to this document as well. So this is actually kind of a neat tool. I think it's like officially launching next week. And when they send it to us, I was like, does this even make sense? Is this even funny? But I like that it's kind of a little bit multiplayer. So you can see Vugar's icon here, and you can see that I
Yes.
created a new doc, and I don't know if I can. Yeah, I can just make
I
that go
already.
away. And so and this window is a bit awkward, but whatever. And so as you can see, I can actually type something in here. So Vugar just typed "Hi Lennart," which is awesome. But if I wanted to write something, I would select this scribe with pen tool and then just write something such as the advent of nano banana has the internet world excited. And then essentially, so this, if I do it without tool, then it's set as a thing that I am that I want to actually write down. But then I can also draft it with a pencil, which I thought was kind of cool, because here you can then say, okay, what is nano banana question mark, and
I think AI
I
part
can
you can
essentially
like.
edit this part. Whoops. I can edit this part. I can just select this and then edit this part and then just run it. Or I should be able to run it. There we go. Nano is a revolutionary technology that combines nano database. Okay, so this is clearly wrong. So I guess it doesn't have access to the internet, so it doesn't necessarily know about this thing yet. But yeah, so we do have some of these options here. We have the options to generate certain things, but all of this is absolute nonsense. Okay. This cutting-edge development merges microscopic engineering with organic compounds derived from bananas. Okay, this is a clear case of AI just like not being up to par. Okay,
It's creating nice fictional
it's creating
fabricated sentence.
fictional text about bananas that are just ultra small. Okay, so let's stop this. But basically, what you can see here, I guess that's not what it's made for. It's not made for the news, but it is made for some of this other stuff. And let's see if how the audio works. So you can narrate or you can dictate. Allow this. Okay, so of course, Nano Banana is a Google image generation model that has just come out. So can you write that down?
Maybe we should just directly jump on it instead of asking text jam what is nano banana.
Yeah.
But by the way, it uses Anthropic's
Oh,
Claude AI.
yeah,
Yes.
you can use the different things. Yeah, actually, had it select Opus. Oh, now it's frozen. It doesn't want to do anything. Where's the menu? Here we go. So yeah, I think you can. Can you find some information on the internet about Nano Banana Gemini image generation? Question mark.
I also see your chat, so that's also interesting.
Yeah, so that's kind of nice because I guess we can also like chat with each other because I could send you a message. Vugar, do you know anything about Nano Banana? And then you probably get a ping on your end, right? Like if I send it to the
Like
team.
I receive. Yes, exactly.
And then if I send something, well, I guess it's weird because if I just type by default Claude answers, right? And then without access to current internet search results, I cannot provide accurate details, which is of course correct. It cannot do that. So that's a little bit tricky. I guess it doesn't splice in any sort of web searching. There's a feature request that we could forward to the developers. But it is kind of a neat way. So we could basically co-write. So if I wanted to get started with a research paper, let's do something that's older that the model actually might know about. Fits This law is, and then can I autocomplete? That's the question. If I do this, yeah, and then no, predictive model of human movement describes the time required to rapidly. Well, it's not really human movement; it's more like interaction movement. But the time required to rapidly move to a target area based on the distance and size of the target. Well, that's okay, but it's not a human movement law. I guess you could say it, but it's really a model of interaction design, right? Like that describes that. All right, so I guess not perfect.
And
But
one quick question: why
yeah.
we should? So you and I, let's say, if we want
Mm-hmm.
to together to work on any document, why not use
Yeah.
Google Docs rather
Well, I
than
think
this? Because there
yeah.
we have Gemini. Just a counter question, as usual.
Yeah, so I think obviously Google Docs, you could still have the collaborative aspects, but what we're seeing here with the drafting with pencil, I think is a bit nicer because now whatever I've drafted with pencil, make this relevant to HCI research. And if I prompt that, aha, then it becomes much better. So I just wonder, I guess we'll have to actually learn and figure that out. But I always just wonder how you can turn that pencil thing into actual pen stuff, because I could also just select that and then prompt on that. Oh no, and then it just prompts it like that. Okay, so that's not perfect. But here, basically, I think the use case is you write something together, and then as you're writing it, it's kind of like what you do in Notion. In Notion, you could write something, and then you'd kind of try and continue, right? Because here I could just like continue this line of argumentation, arguing for why this software is different from Google Docs. And wait, what was the name of the software again? TextJam. Why TextJam? I'm assuming they have some internal training here that can actually answer that, unless they're actually just sending this out to. Okay, no, they do have a training here. While Google Docs excels as collaborative document editing, TextJam is specifically designed for iterative AI-assisted writing. So they did train it on their own information, where you maintain control over which suggestions to accept. Unlike Google Docs' general-purpose approach, TextJam focuses on seamless AI integration. Well, you can't complain about the AI just being part of it and like you being able to generate stuff like that. And even like being able to rewrite with the help of AI, I think is also kind of a cool tool or feature here. All right, so that's not bad, and I really like that I can see you here. I wish I could click on you and then just like send you something, or like have like more of a multiplayer thing. But I like that the chat is built in, but that's also a Google Docs feature, right? But I do like that you can chat with this and with AI. Help us demonstrate a use case for a text jam here. Let's see if it actually knows how to do that. But I do like that you could, as you write, you could kind of create content or things to think about as you're doing that. And it seems like you could also just copy this to the clipboard and then just paste it in here. How cool is that? So you could get some. So here's a use case. Consider typical HCI research. So you're writing a paper about gesture-based interface. You need to explain complex interaction patterns with TextJam. You can write your core insights in pen. So we would select this pen here, and then like inside one, whoopsie, inside one, inside two, inside three, inside four. Why not? And then we would write them down. We would maybe like format them, bullet point them. So I can definitely see how it can be useful for a research paper, because you would just get the insights in there, write that, and then for each insight you could then basically prompt on a line of argumentation that happens from there, right? So here multiple variations of technical explanations, methodological descriptions. I mean, you definitely don't want to have multiple variation of your method because that's basically written in stone. And then literature reviews, I don't think you can do. I mean, here it's hallucinating because like clearly this isn't tied to consensus or something in the back end where you could actually do literature reviews. And terminology preferences. So I do think, tone editing and something like that. I can definitely see that being kind of a cool feature here that you could do and that you could add. I like this idea of dictate, even though it didn't actually work. And this might be because my microphone is currently in use by the streaming software. But let's try that one more time.
Yeah. I
Narrate.
think
You can do it?
I don't know.
Wait, no.
I see when I
I
hover
can't.
over it, I see like it's getting
Testing.
activated.
Testing. Oh, it is doing something. So now it is actually writing what I'm saying. So I can, oh, this is nice. So I can actually dictate stuff. That's a cool feature. Definitely would say I would use this for drafting ideas and drafting, the first overview of a document. And then I could go back into it. I could select it, requery it, and make it nicer. There is a software that I've talked about before that's called Whisperflow that I've been really enjoying. That has a similar functionality because essentially what it does is it sits between you and any sort of text box interface that you have, and you can just dictate your thoughts in there, and it's pretty accurate. This thing here seems to be better because it's basically doing a real-time transcription, stuff that I would only have done in Otter AI before. And now it's directly here in my document, and then I can use it right away. So it removes friction. I can definitely see that. I would kind of like to know what the difference between dictate and narrate is. So that we still have to find out at some point. But that worked pretty well, eh? Like it definitely. Let's see if I can activate narrate. This might be a feature that they're still working on, given that this is, pre-beta release. They haven't even released it. This is not releasing until next week. So I'm guessing the narrate thing might not even be working yet. And that's fine. This stuff happens. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Nothing happened when you clicked on narrate.
No, I'm still waiting. And for some reason, I also just checked. It doesn't actually show us being live on LinkedIn. Check that. For some reason, it's not streaming to LinkedIn. Right now, we're just streaming to
YouTube.
For some reason, our LinkedIn connection didn't work. Probably. Yeah, I don't even know why that didn't work. Too weird. It's probably because we didn't schedule it ahead of time, and so didn't go through. So we don't actually have any of our LinkedIn viewers with us. Maybe I'll just. Did you check YouTube? Are we live on YouTube?
Yes, we are.
Okay, so then maybe we'll just post the LinkedIn. We'll just post our YouTube link, and then they have that. Get shareable link. Sorry, only on YouTube today. Boom. Let's see if anyone catches it. Yeah. Okay. So either way, that was quite interesting. I think I could definitely see, features for it. I think, it's definitely still early. But I definitely want to try this out much more. I love it that it has a running word tally on here, that you have basic formatting. I'd really like to know how I turn something from pencil into pen if it's already in pencil. Oh, yeah, it's as easy as selecting it and just clicking pen. Okay, so now I turn it into pen, and then it's not. Okay, so I still have to understand what exactly the big difference between pen and pencil is, because it feels like if I do it in pencil, I can even still re-prompt it, right? Oh no, this is just turning it into a prompt. Gotcha. Okay, so yeah, I think that those are just some UI issues, but I can definitely see this being a nice, helpful way to do collaborative editing. definitely something I want to try out with my team here, and to kind of see where we can take
So
this.
up to how many people can join at the same time? Do you have
I don't know. I'd have to
information on
check the
that?
website. I'm guessing there's a limit. I'm guessing it's like maybe, you do like 10-ish people or something like that. But yeah, definitely with the narration built in and then the editing, re-editing, I can see that really being a nice drafting thing. With any of these things, it's always like, hopefully this stuff is safe, right? Like with Google Docs, it's in your Google Drive and you can access it. But with this being a startup, right, like you really want to make sure I can still access my latest documents in there and actually make sure that happens. Okay, anyways, I think it was a
Cool.
nice demo, but one of the things that it said it can do, but that it can't do, was to do a literature review search. And we did want to pop over to Consensus and demo that. Because I did recently do a deep search. Here's Christian telling us, yeah, deep search, check it out. And I do like that. Full text content is now in your Consensus. This is actually kind of nice because now you can do full text search as well. Okay, this was consumer trust. Here was one, generative LLMs, qualitative analysis. Yeah, so this was one I did for my newsletter, where I was actually doing a deep search. So you can see here deep. And then if you do the deep search
Yes.
in Consensus, it actually goes through that screening process. And this is something that of course, you have stuff like that in Licit, you have stuff like that in SciSpace's Agent. But I really like, again, the UI is top of the line here when we can see all of these different things. And one of the things I really liked was that you can go through each step and just kind of understand what is it actually doing. So we had this. So yesterday we gave this amazing masterclass on responsible AI, and one of the main principles of making AI responsible is, of course, to allow for transparency. And a lot of AI tools don't do that level of transparency. So it's still not great, because to redo the thing that we want to do, we'd still have to have access to Consensus, right? So by default, it's limited by the tool. But then on the other hand, if you think about it, the way that classic systematic literature review searches work is also that you have to have access to Google Scholar, which is free, or to Web of Science, which is not, or Scopus, which is not free, because your university library actually pays for that. So I guess in terms of Consensus, if they want to start going that route, it might even make sense to negotiate like university-wide licenses and things like that, so that basically all of the researchers at an institution get access to that one tool. But of course, you're up against a billion-dollar company like Elsevier or some of those ruthless moneymakers of the scientific world. So anyways, I do like that you can go through what it's actually doing. It shows you the foundational concepts here, and it shows you the exact search queries that it rephrases here. Then it rephrases the terminology. Again, keep in mind we're doing semantic search and not Boolean search. So rephrasing is actually quite important, because rephrasing is relating to how this stuff actually unfolds in the actual search that it runs, so that it has the semantics based on these three queries that it's giving you here. And then that it actually looks at limitations and critiques, which is nice, and then looks at interdisciplinary uses and looks at adjacent topics. This is interesting for semantic search. And you can see here that in the search, I actually enabled the ask paper. So it doesn't just search through abstract and keywords as it would usually do, but it searches through the actual text of the paper, which I think, that's really kind of what we want to do. One of the things in the past, some academics have really gamed the system, is that if you are really good at keyword phrasing, and you've seen these posts on LinkedIn as well and some other tools, where people were talking about, hey, you got to SEO optimize your research paper, which, I still can't believe that that's actually a thing that people are doing. And of course, we've all been doing that at some point, because if you want to get cited, you want to get discovered. So getting discovered in the past was much more difficult. And now with tools like that can actually quickly parse through these giant data sets of the PDFs that are available, it's so much easier to get discovered, because you have access to the full text, and the model actually makes sense of that through the semantic search, not through the keyword search. So in a way, it enables more fairness, if you think about it, right? Like a much fairer way to discover papers, but still nowhere near to massive adoption in the way that some of these classical tools are. But I did like the methodology that it went through here. Of course, we always like the consensus meter, and in the past, I think one of the things that we've talked about is that if the search, so here's a how search question, which is kind of a way that you would generally phrase a research question. So one of the interesting things here is, of course, that you have to rephrase that as a yes or no question to get this consensus meter, because you want to have that agreement. And now it does that automatically, at least when you do deep search. I don't know if it always does that, but here it did it. And I like that, because I like looking at that consensus meter. I like this little breakdown here and telling you, okay, is this Q1 journals and how many citations do these things have? And this was an interesting trend that I talked about in my newsletter as well, which was something to note here. The tools that essentially are reporting ChatGPT is doing qualitative analysis well are getting a lot of citations, 224, and the more critical papers that are saying, no, LLMs are really not useful for qualitative analysis, are not getting that many citations, right? Like a fraction of that. So this is an interesting thing if you want to understand.
So who are praising ChatGPT for the use, then they get more awareness.
That's how it looks
that's
like right now anyway. So this is interesting, right? Like, so you get interesting
Does
insights from the data.
Does
Does
OpenAI
OpenAI pay the researchers? I don't think so. I think it's just in general, this is how it works. Oh, and here we got a question actually from Ben, who I think might have found our link on LinkedIn, even though we're not live on LinkedIn, we're just live on YouTube. Interesting proposition to have LLMs, and hi, by the way, Ben, to have LLMs for qualitative data. I was working on my own experiments, since all models have different personalities, on whether they would be good suits for synthetic personas. So this is really interesting. This idea of synthetic personas, and even like synthetic users, is a big thing in user research. Like, nobody likes synthetic personas, but on the other hand, for quick, like initial testing, people are exploring that and are seeing, okay, does this make sense to do that? And it's interesting what Ben says, that every model that you select has indeed a different persona that it brings forward. And this was one of the problems when we talked about GPT-5 and the sycophantic sort of way that it interacts. Yeah, so that was quite interesting. Definitely think this is something to consider and think about when you are working with the LLMs. Now, in this case, the way consensus works is they have their own sort of back end and filtering, a very advanced way to go through this. So this is actually beyond what you would do in a writing tool like the one that we just demoed, TextJam, where in TextJam, you could actually then select a different tool, which was somewhere here, right? Like, I think we showed that. So in settings, you could then select the different personas, essentially. And that's kind of cool, because you could even go DeepSeek. It apparently has Grok 4. So that'd be really interesting to see, if the rewrites look any different if you're using a model like Grok 4. And that could be kind of cool to see. Okay. Anyway, one of the things I did like about consensus was that it gives you sort of a Prisma-ish diagram here. At least it breaks it down how it does the systematic search, so that you get your identification, your screening, your eligibility, your inclusion. And this is all automated. And again, we've talked about other tools that do stuff like that before, and how people are thinking, maybe there is a way that we could cut down the time that it takes to do systematic reviews. But at the heart, again, this all relates to trust, which is what we talked about again in our responsible AI webinar yesterday, where if you don't have that user trust, if they don't trust the process that's happening here completely automated, then you essentially don't have a tool, a thing that makes this available. So definitely something to consider before we trust it. We need to have better breakdowns. I would want to be able to click in here and then see what is actually going on. Like, how are you identifying these? Now, this is pretty obvious because this is coming from the semantic search. So if you clicked all details,
And
we
quick
could
question,
see
Leonard,
this.
how
Yeah.
many minutes it took to come up
Yeah.
with the
So this would
whole
also be
result?
nice if they had that up on the top there. But
In
they
my
don't.
experience, it took really short time, like
Yeah, it's super
5
fast.
minutes.
Yeah.
I think why I ask this, because they have these 220 million peer-reviewed academic articles, the corpus of this many huge articles, and going through all of them in 5 minutes and picking up the most relevant ones. This is,
Yeah.
if they are doing what they are showing us, I think this is pretty amazing.
Yeah, let's do a quick try here to see kind of how it goes. Also here, I had like minimum 1 citations, so that's, oh, and I also excluded preprints, um, or maybe I didn't for that one. But like, this is also an interesting thing, specifically if you're doing like really thorough search and you don't want to have all the archive papers showing up. This is a nice thing to have that in there. And then, of course, the ask paper option is also kind of nice. And you
And
could
the
even
ask paper,
say,
if you
yeah,
toggle on the ask paper, it will
yeah,
only analyze the articles which have free access PDF.
exactly. So this is a tricky
And it
thing,
means it
right?
will automatically eliminate all
Yeah,
those which could be
which
definitely
are
relevant
behind
for your
paywall.
research,
Yeah,
but behind the paywall, therefore it will not consider, because even not the abstract of those articles, because if you don't select that
yeah,
consensus, at least read the abstracts of those articles, because abstracts are usually available on different
yeah.
websites, and like Oxford and other universities website, original source, I mean. But if you click on that, it definitely exclude all paywalled articles.
So let's run my query again. Be used for qualitative analysis. And now I'm formulating this directly as a consensus
Yes,
style
no.
query because it's the yes no question. And then I select deep search and I put no filters on there now. So no filters. So it should find way more articles. So let's run this again and see how long this takes. And again, yeah, obviously one of the nice things is always to see this kind of live unfold in front of you. So you literally see it going through all of these steps.
And the change of the numbers, you will see like they are rolling.
Yeah.
And now
And you
it's
can see here
already, I
if it
think,
does
50.
find open access PDFs. So it will have that little icon if it like is an open access PDF. So this is clearly the results that it's finding. And so you could scroll through that list and see all of the results, or you could then minimize that. I feel like one of the things that I've noticed when it does that, it actually gets pretty slow. So I can't even click some of these buttons for some reason. I don't know why that is, but I just feel like because there's a lot of refreshes going on in the back end, it's not really
Yeah.
responsive. Maybe if I reload it, let's see what happens. Now it's working again. So that's weird. So sometimes I guess if I'm clicking on something, it just like
Because the
limits
process
itself.
is now, but you can click on the articles, no? For example, the first one, you
I
can just,
could click on them while it's doing that,
yes,
and then I could already look at the articles, and you can see the little circulating thing.
yes.
Yeah, shows you all of
And
that.
here, scroll a little bit to down, and there, I think, is it possible to see the snapshot?
Yeah,
Yes,
so this one doesn't have a lot to
yes.
deliver here for that snapshot. This one has a little observational study thing there. And this has a lot of citations. So let's have a look at this one. So that might be one that gives us a bit more. So yeah, it's a Q1 journal. So you get that influential expertise, single authored, 84 citations, which is impressive given that it's a 2023 article. So that's like 2 years in, it's already gotten 84 citations. I mean, I'm coming from a field where, you know, these kind of citations usually don't happen that quickly. We got a question here coming
So it's
from
a
Salma, the AI program you're using. So right now we're using Consensus, and before that we used what was it called?
text jam.
TextJam, that's the name. Yeah, TextJam.
Yes.
So we had TextJam, and now we're doing Consensus. And yeah, if you're not watching this on YouTube, but you're listening on the podcast, so we're running a deep search query for generative AI. And can generative AI be used for qualitative analysis? And we're just watching it unfold in real time. And now, how long are we in? Like 2 or 3 minutes. It's already starting to write
Yes.
the results for us. So again, pretty impressive. And this is interesting. So now, because I've included more sources, and if we click on this, we can see it actually included more sources. It has 50 sources included at the end.
It's always 50. With the deep research, it will always consider up to 50. So 50, I think,
Interesting.
is the limit with the deep
So it has a
search.
cutoff. Okay, I see.
Yes,
Okay, so
because
392 papers have relevance, but it only includes 50 because that's kind of how it likes to cut things off. This is interesting. Okay. I
so
didn't know
that's
that.
the limit, and consensus consider those
Yeah.
50 as like the most relevant ones for your query. So
I
that's
got it.
how,
Okay. That's good.
because
That's good, but it's also a little concerning. Like,
because I think you
yeah.
can do with the consensus three types of research. Like with the quick version, it's just only 10 papers.
Yeah.
The pro version is just only 20 papers, and the deep research they only do with the 50 papers.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the thing I
Yeah.
like here, so yeah, we talked about the consensus meter, but also you can see those numbers. All those numbers are articles, and right in the end of the text, you will see the list of those articles as well. I think
Yeah.
if you scroll down to the end of the work of consensus, you will see that list there as well.
Yeah. Okay. So
Scroll
we were
down
just
and you will see
getting some questions here that I was just looking at. But yeah, so scroll down to where?
just to the end, and you will see the whole list of the 50 articles there. After
Yeah,
all,
yeah. This is the
everything. So
references
results. So
exactly.
you will
And then
see,
it has
and
the
and when you scroll a little bit to up here, and
oh, but
there,
I can load more results. This is interesting. So I can actually force it to consider more. Huh. It
but
just won't
those,
have them in the it won't, yeah,
yes.
it won't have them
But
included in the
here I want
analysis.
also to show something, Leonard. Come to the results
Hmm.
part, please, again, to the down, the list
Down?
of
Oh,
articles.
to the list, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and there, just click right hand side up, right hand side up, not that one, but next to it.
This
No, no,
one
no,
here?
left hand, like a
Which
small
icon do you want me to
list.
click?
Yes, this one.
This one?
if
Default?
if you select default, and it
Oh
will
yeah,
show
then you
you
get the
like
little,
more
yeah,
information,
got it.
which
Yeah.
I like that as well.
That is kind of nice that you get like the one sentence overview at the beginning
Yes.
there. I think that's definitely
and
useful.
and
So we
you
got
can
to,
see, in a green you can see yes, so you can
yeah, whether it
basically
agrees or not.
see
Yeah, because
yes,
that then
yes,
relates to this consensus meter up here, which now
exactly.
shows we got 26 agreement studies and even a tier one study here. And this is the total. And then we still got the 7 no's that I had in my other query. So the only difference I have between running this one and the one that I ran for my newsletter is basically I had the Ask PDF enabled. So quite interesting, right? And so we had a couple of questions. So Ben was asking, can you select what reference style it pops out, APA or ACM? And I don't think you can select it in here, but of course you would export the references into your reference manager from here. So you can hit your nice little, oh no, this is the thing here. You can hit export, and you can just export it as a RIS file, and then you can format it into whatever reference you want. And you could export it into CSV file, and you could easily build a literature matrix. So that's kind of cool as well. So that, it doesn't, I think, matter for this one, because this would be just your starting point. You would never pass this off as a report for the paper, but it would be, your first start. And again, the only part where I would actually use it is related work, because you can't publish this as a thing by itself, because it's not replicable. So you have the issues of science here.
And maybe one small comment on that question, Leonard, from my part. Like, if you export here, let's say I usually use Zotero. If you import all that list into Zotero, and while using Zotero, let's say you just use one footnote on your Word document, it will take your referencing style. You just add them as a list to your Zotero library. And then if you add them to your Word document or LaTeX, whatever editing tool you use, then it will definitely use your reference style. You already set your reference management program.
Yeah,
Like
of course.
Zotero, yes.
Yeah. So yeah, and I like this thing too. I like the little animation that plays here, and that it kind of shows you the claims that are being made towards that statement, and whether or not the evidence is strong, right? Like, this is something that we would usually do manually, and I do like that they've included that, and that here they even attempt a little matrix in terms of from what areas do these things come. Interesting, ethics area, ethics studies, and then healthcare apparently does a lot of AI-only thematic coding, so also quite interesting. Then we had Haroon, who's saying, great podcast, consensus AI's best feature is pulling insights from research. Geo is rising fast like SEO for AI engines. Okay, Geo. All right, maybe he can elaborate on that. But I think that's generative AI optimization or something like that. But yeah, of course, people are trying to optimize so that their papers can be found. And it all starts by making your PDF available, which is why a lot of people put it up on other places. And of course, we got
Geo
the
is
usual.
like, I think,
Yeah.
like everyone is talking about, when you like article, or you, let's say you create your own website, you should definitely be sure that it is also can be accessed by AI tools.
Yeah.
Like, if anyone asks ChatGPT anything, if it is on your website, if your GEO, not CEO, is good optimized, then you will have your website get accessed through ChatGPT. Like,
Yeah. Huh. Well, okay, I know that makes sense. And then we got this other question: what is AI? What's the best AI? And I get this so often, and I just like, like, I appreciate it, but I'm also like, no, like, scientific research reviews, you cannot write with AI. Like, I'm sorry to have to break this to you. These tools are fantastic to get started with a related work review. And yes, we do like Consensus, which is the one that we're demoing. And we have also demoed SciSpace. We've demoed Elicit, which also has a completely automated literature review part of it. And I don't know if I'm forgetting, those are the three big ones. Site AI was another one that has gotten pretty big. But I think both of us, like, we've kind of settled on SciSpace and Consensus as sort of our go-to tools. And recently, Consensus Deep Search, just because of the speed, because that's nice. But can you publish it? No, you cannot publish this. So no, this is not AI that you could use to write a scientific research review. To write a scientific research review, you still have to follow the exact steps for a literature review. I've outlined this in 6 different newsletter episodes in my recent newsletter. So please feel free to check that out. Maybe I can pop in a link to that. But this is what you would want to do. You would want to use AI to assist you. You could use the tool TextJam that we demoed earlier to do this kind of co-writing. You could use Consensus to get started and get an idea for where to look. But then you'd still have to write queries that are replicable. So semantic search, or even if you use Semantic Scholar, is still not the way to go, just because of the way that semantic search works. As far as I have seen this, I have not seen a proper semantic search set query that actually does that for the the scientific world, the scientific papers that you kind of would bring forward. So that's definitely not something that you can do yet. Um, and yes, yeah. So I don't know. I've posted this in LinkedIn chat, but LinkedIn is kind of messed up today for some reason. The stream is running through YouTube. It's not running through LinkedIn. It doesn't show up, and I can't actually see the comments on LinkedIn, even though I've replied. So this is kind of a weird. And if I reply in our streaming tool, it for some reason doesn't like forward it to this. But yeah, you're correct. This one is consensus, and then the other one was the text jam tool. Yeah, one other thing I wanted to do before we call it quits, because I have to leave on time today, is and you might have come across this, is basically that we now have Gemini 2.5 Flash image preview, which is called Nano Banana, right? And so here I'm gonna just the thing is why it is so good. I'm gonna
Is it
just take
like version 4 or 5 now? Which number is it, Leonard? It's
a
4, I guess, or?
for Nano Banana. So it's
Yes.
I don't know, because they versioning wise they've put it into 2.5 Gemini Flash preview. So here, of course, I've now taken a screenshot of you, and I'm gonna I'm gonna prompt it. Can you put this person into a Superman costume and show him flying across the sky? Boom. Let's run this and see how good and how quick it is. So quickness is, of course, one of the things that people are really referring to when it comes. And wow, Vugar, it only took less than 5 minutes, and you are you are Superman. How amazing is that? So yeah, that new haircut is working out really well for you, and you are
I really
flying
look like a Superman now.
across the sky. Okay, so let's try and do one of me. I'm gonna look into I'm gonna look into the camera and hopefully be
And
able
that photo
to.
is even the very bad photo, I'd say.
Yeah. Oh, my photo is even worse. But let's still try and do that. I look like such a nerd. Make this guy look like an old professor who teaches students
Boolean
how
library.
to excel at writing. Let's see. So yeah, it's fun for sure.
In Boolean library in Oxford.
Oh yeah, I should have added a library one in there. Okay, so Ben, of course, is saying Nano Banana is very cool. They have a lot of safety filters, so Nano Banana is not Imogen, I believe. So yeah, that's a separate model. Yeah, so Imogen was the previous one. Oh, this is how I look like when I am old. I don't know. Okay, that's a very scary, very scary thought.
Not scary, I would
but
say.
you look at that. I've lost all of my hair. I'm already working on losing the rest of my hair.
Not
Okay,
all
so
of
this is
them,
fun.
but
So definitely, yeah, if you're listening to this just on the podcast, on the audio, check out the YouTube video of this that we'll be posting as well, so that you can find some of these hilarious images that we're looking at here that are done with Nano Banana. But of course, one of the things with Nano Banana is that you could, in theory, reprompt this. So make this professor a baby that is floating in space with books floating around it. So we can, in theory, and I'm gonna hit my free usage limit soon, because we're just doing this with the preview. So of course they're gonna make you pay after a while, because they only have limited amounts of things. Okay, so this is not so great because I'm not a baby. It's still a professor, but it is in space. So I guess there are limitations here, but the books are right, and that you can see here. So one of the things that I wanted to show, if somebody's like interested in how this works, is also, of course, you could do something like using the apps that it has. So here it also has, it also has these apps, and so we could do we'll do another Vugar picture, We could do a thing that can I? No, I can't do that. No, it actually has to.
You
Okay.
have
So I
to
can't do a Vugar
upload
picture, but
something.
yeah, you'd have to upload a photo, improve drag and drop. Oh, I could just vibe code this, and then let's see if I can drag and drop if I vibe code this, and then we have the thing available. Let's just see. Yeah, so the fun thing with a lot of these apps that you can work with in that store is that essentially you can drag and drop some of these things on there, and you can re-vibe code the functionality, which is kind of fun. So we have a comment here on the Imagen versus Nano Banana thing. So Imagen runs in 2.5 Pro, Nano Banana runs in 2.5 Flash, or as what we're demoing right now in the studio. And as you can see, vibe coding is not something that's instant. It takes a little bit, but hopefully, if it's done, it will actually let me drag and drop stuff into this. Okay, changes I'll make, and now it's going to make the changes to the code. So it's kind of outlined of how it wants to change the app. Vibe coding is always the most fun part. Okay, so now it should do drag and drop. So let's see if we can drag and drop Vugar. Still can't drag and drop you. Okay, so not successful. Nope, still doesn't let me drag and drop. Well, okay, we tried. Okay, unsafe changes. So this is one of the things that you can do. Of course, there's other apps that you can play around with. And as you can see, whenever it says Gemini 2.5 Flash, we can also just select that. Then you have something available that helps you think about that. So here we can type winter, and it would do sort of these images depicting winter scenes that it will just generate for us. And you could do it on a sphere, so you can like zoom in and like find these images and move around with these images, or you could put it on a grid. And then, yeah, it's a little bit easier to, oh, it's not actually that easy, a little bit easier to get there. But again, it's not super intuitive yet, but yeah, definitely these are nice starting points for people that want to work with some of these tools, specifically something with 2.5 Flash in this. So this one is actually interesting. So this tap anywhere to start webcam. So this is my webcam now, and that just lets you redo a photo. So I could just here snap a photo and it'll turn me into a Renaissance picture. There's of course other things that we could do here. So as you can see, this is sort of the Renaissance picture version of me, which is kind of fun. And if I look in the camera and then we'll do a cartoon, and let's see how that looks like.
That
And
Renaissance one was good one.
yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, it's a Renaissance painting, and whoa, look at this. This is like a vector drawn cartoon of me, and then we can do 80s style as well, uh, which that's gonna look fun. So if we do this, this was pretty quick for the vector one. Oh my god, look at this.
Yes.
So then we got this sort of 80s nerd there, and we could do a 19th century. And we could also do anime, which is fun, Big Beard and other stuff. Oh, 8-bit, we got to try that one out as well. So look at me in the
Nice.
Western. So that's hilarious. Then let's try anime, which so anime, and then 8-bit was another thing that I was going to try. And then we'll just, oh my god. What is even happening? Is that what was that? That was anime. I guess
That
that's
was
like an
no,
anime
yeah,
version.
that was anime. Yes,
What is it
and
doing with my eyes? It's just like giving me all these giant eyes. Oh my god. I kind
and
of like
then
the 80s version the best so far, I gotta say. And comic book. Um Let's see what it does with comic book. And then we got the age one as well. Let's see how old. And then you could make a GIF as well. Well, this is
That's
kind of
kind of
cool. This is
interesting.
sort of a Warhol style thing. Um, so this is cool. And this is old me. Oh my God. All right. So I'll come back here in 40 years. And then I'll look if this is actually how I'm going to look like. All right. So right now it's a lot of fun, different things that you can do with these apps and with Gemini Banana, Nano Banana, Gemini 2.5 Flash model. And this is definitely something that I think is quite interesting for people that kind of want to see, what can we do with this stuff? Can we like maybe build or code something that also allows us to use some of these technologies for productive ways? Like, can we maybe build something with Nano Banana because it's so fast that allows us to edit graphs for a research paper or something like that? That makes it much, much easier. But we are at the end of today's show again. And yeah, so I thank you very much for tuning in with both of us again today. Want to kind of outline that we still have this AI webinar where we explain all sorts of different research tools. If you're interested in that, definitely check that out on that QR code that we have in here. The QR code was up during the stream as well. If you're just listening to us on the podcast, definitely go to go.lennartvugar.com/AI research tools, which should give you the link as well. And we hope that you'll tune in with us again in one of the other episodes. Any famous last words from you, Vugar?
So we at least covered one very nice tool, consensus, for today's, which was very nice for academic purposes. Of course,
Yes.
no AI tool is perfect just for one
Yeah.
task. These are just assistants. You cannot copy paste and put and introduce it as your own. But
Yeah.
of course, let's say if you have 50 pages, you don't know whatever you do. If you have 50 papers right in the beginning, what I suggest, just start reading them. Even if you
Start
read
reading
10 of
them.
them,
That's the
yes,
tip. Yeah.
even if you and read them if you are right in the beginning of your literature review process. I was always reading the papers by looking their footnotes, because in the footnotes I found hundreds of other sources which definitely I used later in my own literature review. So
Mm-hmm.
that's basically how you do. You start reading papers, like let's say 10,
Yeah.
and out of 10 you found hundreds, and then more and more. Then you sort out, and in the end you have solid number of papers which are the must have ones for your dissertation or whatever paper you are writing. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's how you use these kind of tools. Just the starting point, you have your papers, and later you have to see it and read. So there is no other way.
That's a really, really great tip. Yeah,
Of
that's
course, it is
exactly.
genuine work. Yeah, if you just copy
Yeah, it
paste and
is.
submit, yes,
Yeah.
this.
You have
So
to put
that's
in the
my
work.
last comment for
Yeah.
today's show.
Yeah. One more comment here from Ben, who says, I wonder whether for e-commerce it will be used with celebrities advertising certain things. 100% it will be. Like whether the celebrities will sign a document that they can be used for fast ads with Banana. I think right now in marketing, this is really like the killer application for sure for this type of stuff. And yeah, I do think that is quite interesting. Okay, anyways, if you enjoyed this episode today and you want more content like this, there are 3 quick things you can do to support the show. First, hit subscribe in your podcast app. You can find us by searching for the AI Academics so that you never miss an episode. You can also find this podcast on my Substack, lennartvugar.substack.com. It just takes a second, but it makes a huge difference in helping others discover the show. And if you found value in today's session, please leave a rating, leave a review, comment on our YouTubes. You can find Vugar at Vugar Ibrahimov on YouTube. And your feedback really helps us improve the show and helps new listeners find us. Finally, connect with us on social media where we share AI insights that you won't find anywhere else. Thank you.